Hey everybody, welcome to our 9th podcast. I'm very excited. Today is Tuesday, October 29th, and this is our Green Driving and Thriving podcast, and we have a special guest today.
Yes, we do.
We'd like to welcome our driving instructor, Juliette. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Today's topic, Mike, is what are we doing?
We're going to go over pedestrian awareness and pedestrian safety.
Okay, I think we're right on time here with the Goblin and Ghoul.
If they can't tell that we're all in
hey, this
in
is
costume.
What I wear every day.
Yeah,
dude.
and we have Juliette from Romeo and Juliet, right?
That's right. In case you
Play
didn't
on
know.
words.
All right, so let's get into it. We obviously, as we approach the Halloween season, and we're going to have a bunch of little ones running around. Let's talk a little bit about pedestrian safety. Give me some things to think about as a driver as I'm preparing to drive on Halloween with the little kids running around. What are some things that I should be thinking about?
Definitely driver awareness.
Yeah.
Just making sure that you're reading any type of crosswalks or looking out for the posted signs,
Speed,
especially
right?
when they're like flashing yellow.
Yes.
Stuff like that, and then being cautious of jaywalkers.
And one thing I think parents are aware of, but maybe not aware enough, is like visibility, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to see the kids, right? And it depends on the costume, right? Unless you have some sort of reflective, right, like really bright colors. We all know that sort of in general, you can't see if you're wearing all black, right? It makes it difficult. But even if you're wearing another color, you could. Yeah. I mean, it's difficult to see.
Yeah, even like blues and greens or
reds, right?
Red. Yeah, they all blend in at night.
Yep.
And as you've seen, like the trend of people walking dogs with those like rainbow light up collars,
yes,
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Glow sticks are a great option for the kids.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
they love them. They're fun. Just don't let them chew on them.
Right.
They're not candy.
Yeah. Flashlights, right?
Yeah.
Anything, any kind of light that brings an additional visibility, glowy stuff, reflective stuff, all that should just be a concern for parents. But as the driver, what if they don't, right? We don't see it. Like, I mean, is there, what can we do?
Yeah, it's pretty hard to even anticipate what a goblin or ghoul is going to be doing.
Right.
But as a driver, it makes the job even 10 times harder, and especially in the neighborhoods.
Especially in the neighborhoods, yeah. And on Halloween, it's right, so. We're going to talk a little bit more about it, Juliette. We're going to pose a couple of questions to you in terms of pedestrian safety and things to think about. So I hope you don't mind me shooting a couple questions at you.
Yeah.
No, perfectly fine.
All right, excellent.
Bippity boppity boo.
Whoa! All right. Okay. Well, it seems like you have some magical powers there, Miss Juliette. This is an interesting turn of events, so I hope you don't mind. We continue to ask you a couple questions here. What happens as a driver if there's a pedestrian, this is going to be an adult in most situations, that begins to not just follow the rules of the road and they're crossing, and then maybe they signal to you as a driver, they offer you some guidance in terms of, okay, you go now and I'll wait, or something like that. What are you supposed to do as a driver when a pedestrian offers you guidance?
I would say if the pedestrian has already reached that center barrier, then of course I'm gonna just go ahead and cautiously drive through, versus if they're already crossing and they're in the middle of the intersection, whether or not they're directing me to go, I'm still going to yield to them because I have other drivers behind me, and even if that frustrates them, I have to do what I have to do behind the wheel and make sure that my students are also following that. So that's how I would handle that situation.
And that's perfect, because that's the perfect legal definition. Because if they're at that center divide, that's a legal barrier. That's like them standing on the corner, and you don't know what someone's doing on the corner. They could be waiting for a ride. They could be taking a picture. They could be waiting for someone to cross on the other side. So it's a good heads up moment. You check both directions and Perfect.
That's a good point.
No, it really could create a dangerous situation because you as the driver are aware of cars behind you and what you're, quote unquote, signaling to them. And meanwhile, the pedestrian may just be looking at you, and as they guide you to do something else, the driver behind you may react in a different way. So your willingness to stay there and stay put, even though it may become a little uncomfortable and awkward, is the exact right thing to do. So excellent answer. Now, we're talking about Halloween. We're talking about the little goblins and ghouls running around.
Mm-hmm.
What time of day, on Halloween specifically, would you say is really sort of the witching hour when we should really be extra cautious about driving?
I'd say any time when you start to see kids in your neighborhood. If you want to put an actual time on it, probably somewhere around 4 p.m. just when those little kids start trick-or-treating, especially because they're going to be running around everywhere, super hyperactive, and that's something to always look out for.
Yes, excellent answer. Again, as you bring up an excellent point in terms of with the kids out there running around in the streets. I mean, essentially they're jaywalkers. They're not crossing at crosswalks at that point. They're zigzagging back and forth from one house to the next. How are we supposed to deal with that?
Well, we want to obviously be a little bit more cautious, drive a little bit more slower since there's really no sense of direction, especially on a night like this. So honestly, you have to kind of be watching all of your surroundings rather than just one direction. And that's really going to keep everybody safe.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that we've been doing here is as long as I've been at the company, before I was a skeleton, but we would always shut down the company after noon.
Yeah.
It's not worth it to run lessons during this time.
Yeah.
Because, some schools let out early, depends on the day of the week, but Halloween's usually a day where they do the parade and they're all in their costumes, so they get out early anyways. And, some kids are going to walk home, some kids are going to run in the street and try to see if anyone's handing out candy right away. So it's best to continue with that cautious driving, but as the best as you can avoid driving.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those nights where if you can avoid it, definitely you should.
Yeah. Just remember to have a happy Halloween and go safe, go green.